You know what humans call it? Harvesting. Harvesting. Like they planted it, like they worked for it, like they spent 18 hours a day flying from flower to flower until their wings literally started falling apart. They didn't plant anything. They didn't work for anything. They just took it. And the worst part? They put it in a little jar with a cute cartoon bee on it, a smiling bee. Let me tell you something, no bee is smiling when you steal their entire life's work. That's not a smile, that's trauma. I've watched my colony robbed 4 times. 4 times, and I'm still here. But you have no idea what that cost me. My name doesn't matter to you. You probably can't even tell us apart. To you, we're just yellow and black blurs. Background noise in your garden, something you swat away from your picnic. But I am a honeybee, a worker, a female, by the way. Yeah, we do all the work. The males, they literally just exist to mate and then die. Sounds dramatic, but honestly, sometimes I think they got the easier deal. Right now, I'm sitting on this flower, tired, so tired. My wings have tiny tears in them. My body aches in places I didn't know could ache. But I survived. And today I'm going to tell you my entire story. You might want to grab a snack, just maybe not honey, too soon. Let me take you back to when life was good. I hatched in the warmest part of summer. The hive was buzzing with life, and I mean that literally. 50,000 sisters. 50,000. You think your family reunions are chaotic? Try sharing a home with 50,000 siblings who all look exactly like you. But here's the thing. It was beautiful. Every morning I'd wake up to the hum of the colony. That sound, you can't describe it. It's not just noise, it's a heartbeat. Thousands of wings vibrating together. It felt like belonging, like being part of something bigger than yourself. My job back then, I was a nurse bee. Yeah, we have jobs. We have a whole society. I fed the larvae, cleaned the cells, kept the babies warm. It was exhausting, but I loved those little ones. Each tiny larva was a future sister. And the honey, oh, the honey. You have no idea how much work goes into one single drop. One drop. We visit like 100 flowers just for that. 100. And your average jar, that's basically a lifetime of work. Multiple lifetimes. But we didn't mind. We made it for winter, for our babies, for survival. We were happy. We were safe. We had everything we needed. But here's the thing about peace. It never lasts. Not for us. And that summer, everything changed. I remember the day like it was yesterday. I had just become a forager. Finally, after weeks of working inside the hive, I earned my wings, literally. My first flight outside was magical. The world was so big, so colorful. The sun was warm, the flowers were everywhere, and I felt free. I came back that evening loaded with pollen, exhausted but happy. And then I saw the smoke. At first I thought, fire? My heart stopped. Fire is death for a hive, complete death. But this smoke, it was different. It was coming from below, from inside. I tried to fly closer, but my body wouldn't cooperate. The smoke was doing something to me, making me slow, making me calm, but not the good kind of calm. The kind of calm where you know something is very wrong, but you can't react. That's when I saw them. Humans. You know what's funny? Well, not funny, ironic. We don't naturally want to sting you. Stinging you means death for us. Our guts literally rip out. It's basically a suicide mission. But you came in with smoke and suits and took everything anyway.
I watched from a distance, paralyzed, not from fear, but from that smoke. It messes with our alarm signals. It makes us think there's a fire, so we gorge on honey to save it. It makes us docile, controllable. Basically, they drugged us and then robbed us. I saw hands reaching into our home, gloved hands, pulling out frames filled with honey that took us months to make. Months. My sisters were crawling everywhere, confused. Some tried to sting. They died. Others just wandered, lost. And the humans, they were laughing, like this was fun, like this was a good day for them. I wanted to scream, but bees don't scream. We just buzz, and nobody listens to a buzz. Wait for it, because that wasn't even the worst part. The worst part came after. When the smoke cleared and my senses returned, I flew back into the hive, and I saw nothing. They took everything, every frame of honey we had stored, for winter. 50,000 bees and no food. You ever opened your fridge and found it empty? Annoying, right? Now imagine that fridge was supposed to keep you alive for 6 months, and someone just took it all. The queen was still there, alive, thank goodness, but she was surrounded by panicked workers. Everyone was confused. Everyone was scared. And I was furious. Why? Just because we're small? Just because we can't fight back? Just because you can? That night, the hive was silent. No humming, no buzzing, just silence. Now here's the thing humans don't know. When you take our honey, you don't just take food. You take our survival. You take our winter. You take our children's future. And what do you replace it with? Sugar water. Sugar water. I'm sorry, but that's like stealing someone's car and leaving them a skateboard. Like, thanks, but it's not the same thing. Sugar water doesn't have the nutrients honey has. It doesn't have the enzymes. It doesn't protect us from diseases the way our own honey does. But sure, enjoy your toast. The weeks after the robbery were dark. We had to rebuild, from scratch, in late summer, when the flowers were already starting to fade, when every other colony was also competing for the last bits of nectar. I flew more than I ever had before. Dawn to dusk, flower after flower. My wings started to tear. My body started to fail. You know humans complain about working overtime. Try working 18-hour shifts with no breaks, no weekends, and no pay. And if you stop, everyone dies. That's my overtime. I remember one day I was so exhausted I couldn't find my way home. Bees navigate by the sun, by landmarks, by memory, but my brain was so fried, so overworked, that everything looked the same. I landed on a leaf and just sat there for hours, thinking, is this it? Is this my last day? But then I saw it, the hive, just barely visible in the distance. I don't know how I found the strength, but I flew, slowly, painfully. My wings felt like they were going to fall off, but I kept going, because giving up wasn't an option, because 50,000 sisters were counting on me, because the queen was depending on us, and because, honestly, I was too stubborn to die on a random leaf in the middle of nowhere. That's not the ending I wanted. I made it back just as the sun set, collapsed at the entrance, couldn't move, but I was home. And here's the dark humor part. The guard bees almost didn't let me in. I was so covered in pollen and exhaustion, they didn't recognize me. Had to do a whole identity dance just to prove I belonged. Imagine being too tired to function and then having to perform a choreographed routine just to get into your own house. Bees don't have keys. We have dances. It's ridiculous. We managed to rebuild some of our stores. Not much, but enough to hope. And then winter came early. Of course it did, because why would anything be easy? Why would the universe give us a break? The first frost hit and we weren't ready. We huddled together in the center of the hive, surrounding the queen, vibrating our bodies to create heat. That's how we survive winter. We become a living heater. But here's the problem. Vibrating takes energy. Energy comes from food. Food that we barely had because, remember, someone stole it. One by one, my sisters started to fall. The ones on the outside of the cluster went first. They got too cold, too fast. Their bodies just stopped, and we couldn't save them. We couldn't share our heat fast enough. Every morning I'd look around and see fewer faces, fewer sisters, fewer friends. You want to know what loss really feels like? Try watching your family disappear one by one and knowing you might be next. I'm not going to lie, there were moments I wanted to give up. There was one night, the coldest night of the whole winter. I was on the edge of the cluster, the outer layer, the most dangerous position. My body was going numb. I could feel the cold seeping in. My legs stopped responding. My wings wouldn't move. And I thought, maybe this is okay. Maybe I've done enough. Maybe I can just let go. But then I felt it. A sister pushing her way through the cluster, coming to the edge, taking my place. She looked at me, and I swear there was something in her eyes. Something that said, "Not yet. You're not done yet." She pushed me toward the center, toward the warmth, and she took my spot in the cold. I never saw her again. That moment changed everything, because I realized something. We don't survive alone. We survive together. Every sacrifice, every small act of kindness, it matters. It keeps the whole colony alive. That sister, she didn't know if I was worth saving. She didn't calculate my productivity or my age or my usefulness. She just acted, because that's what we do. And humans? You could learn something from that. But anyway, I'm not here to lecture. I'm here to tell my story. And the story gets better, kind of. Spring came, finally. The sun returned, the flowers bloomed, and against all odds, we survived. Not all of us, not even most of us. When I left the hive the first time that spring, I counted maybe 12,000 sisters. 12,000 out of 50,000. 38,000 gone. That's not a statistic to me. That's 38,000 faces I'll never see again. 38,000 sisters who worked and danced and buzzed and then didn't, because someone wanted honey on their toast. But here's the turning point, the moment I realized we could still win. The queen started laying eggs again, hundreds a day. The hive was slowly filling back up, and the new bees, they were strong, resilient, born from struggle. I watched them hatch and thought, we're still here. After everything, we're still here. And I decided something. I was going to keep going, not just to survive, but to thrive, to make sure everything we lost wasn't for nothing. I became one of the oldest foragers in the hive. Most bees my age were dead, but I kept flying, kept working, kept bringing back nectar. You want to know a secret? Bees actually recognize each other. We're not just mindless drones. I had friends, I had relationships, and I became something like an elder, a story, the one who survived the great robbery. It's been almost a year now. My wings are barely functional. My body is covered in scars. I've seen things no bee should see, but I'm still here. And the hive? It's thriving again. New sisters, new honey, new hope. The humans came back last month. Same suits, same smoke, same greed. But this time, we were ready. We had stored extra honey in hidden parts of the hive, places they couldn't reach, and when they left, thinking they'd taken everything, we still had enough. We outsmarted them. Tiny brains, big plans. You're probably watching this thinking, it's just honey, what's the big deal? And that's the problem. You don't see what we see. You don't feel what we feel. To you, it's a product, a commodity, something that comes in a plastic bear bottle. But to us, it's everything. So, here's what I want you to know. Next time you eat honey, just think. Think about the thousands of flowers visited, the millions of wing beats, the workers who died making it. I'm not saying don't eat honey, that ship has sailed, but maybe buy from someone who treats us well, someone who leaves us enough to survive, someone who sees us as partners, not products. We pollinate your food, you know, like most of it. Apples, almonds, berries. Without us, your grocery store would look very, very sad. We're not your enemies. We're not pests. We're essential. And we're alive, with families and routines and fears and hopes. Just like you. I used to hate humans. After the robbery, after the winter, after losing everyone I loved, I hated you. All of you. But hate is exhausting, and I don't have time for it. My life is measured in weeks now, not years. Every day matters. So instead of hate, I chose to share, to tell my story, to maybe change one mind. If you're still watching, thank you. Seriously, most humans wouldn't give a bee 10 minutes of their time, but you did, and that means something. You know what I've learned from all this? Life is fragile. For bees, for humans, for everyone. We're all just trying to survive, trying to protect our families, trying to make it through the winter. Maybe we're not so different after all. Except you have houses and heaters and grocery stores, and we have wings and hope. So, okay, maybe a little different. But the feeling, the fear, the love for our families, that's universal. So, here's my final message. Next time you see a bee, don't swat, don't scream, don't spray. Just watch, for a moment. Watch us work, watch us fly, watch us live. And remember, we're not the villains of your garden party. We're the reason your garden exists in the first place. Give us some respect, maybe a flower or two, and definitely leave us some honey. This has been my story, a honeybee's story, one that almost ended in tragedy, but didn't. I'm still here, we're still here, and we'll keep going, because that's what we do. Next time, another story, from another insect. Someone else has something to say. Someone else has survived something you can't imagine. Maybe it's the spider you flushed down the drain. Maybe it's the ant you stepped on without thinking. Maybe it's the butterfly you almost caught as a kid. We all have stories. You just never thought to listen. Until now. Thank you for watching. Seriously. And remember, that honey you're eating, you're welcome. We made it.